Hey, Scott Brown from Area Prosecutions in the Iowa Attorney General's office. Crime Victim Rights Week is always a highlight every year for those of us in the prosecution arena. Recognizing victims of crime and hearing from those that serve victims in whatever capacity or context and nowadays in whatever medium is a great way to recognize those most affected by crime. One of the themes this year is justice, which can be many things to a crime victim, not just necessarily a favorable result after a trial or a plea. We all need to remember the interests of the victims that we serve and keep those interests at the heart of our case. Keeping crime victims informed and part of the process is so important in defining justice for them. So here's to endless days of working remotely for victims. Take care, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Happy National Crime Victims' Rights Week 2020. I'm Holly Elliott. I'm the Victim Assistance Specialist with the Northern District of Iowa United States Attorney's Office. Justice. The core mission of the Department of Justice is to pursue justice for criminal acts, and that pursuit includes justice for the victims of crime. Every day, department personnel encounter individuals harmed by crime. How we treat those individuals has a huge impact on their confidence in the criminal justice system and their ability to heal and recover from crime. When the department is successful in identifying and convicting offenders, our victim assistance efforts help victims navigate an unfamiliar system, foster accountability, and find affirmation for their suffering. In situations, however, where the department is unable to identify a perpetrator or bring a perpetrator to justice, our outreach and assistance can help victims access the services they need to recover and help them understand the criminal justice response. In both situations, we are seeking justice for victims in whatever shape that may take.
My name is Mary, and as a professional victim service provider and also a survivor of violent crime, when I think of the word justice, I first of all think that that's a very difficult concept to define. I also find it to be a very personal experience. For me, my first experience of justice was having the opportunity to give a victim impact statement in court when the offender in this case was prosecuted. It brought a sense of justice that I was able to stand up and have a voice for my late husband. However, I don't think I really experienced justice until I had a facilitated dialogue with the offender in this case and was able to speak with him directly and hear him be accountable to me for the life that he took and the impact that he had on so many people's lives. So that, to me, was more of a sense of justice than the courtroom experience.
To me, the word justice literally means a return to wholeness. I cannot undo what that man did, but I can choose to not allow that violation to continue to control me or who I am. It didn't happen overnight, but today I am whole, and I really have been whole for a long time.
My name is Katie, and I'm an advocate at Crisis Intervention Services. The term justice is often referred to as somebody spending time in prison for a crime that they committed, but more often than not, we know that that's not always the outcome for most offenders. It is important, and at CIS we recognize that justice is different for everyone, and we can't keep everybody under an umbrella outcome of what that looks like. It's important for every individual to figure out what that term means for them and help them guide themselves to their healing path.
My name's Scott Rieger. I'm a special agent with the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation in Cedar Falls, Iowa. What justice means to me, justice to me means truth. And if the pursuit of that truth reveals that innocence exists, then that innocence shouldn't suffer. While at the same time, justice within truth means that if that truth and the pursuit of that truth reveals that guilt exists, then that guilt shouldn't escape. And that's what justice means to me.
Ultimately, I think justice will be served Some of these cases don't ever get solved, but I think eventually everyone has to answer for what they do. So that gives me a lot of hope, knowing that someday they're going to have to meet their maker, and that will be ultimate justice for these people, because I don't think justice here on earth is good enough for some of these people, what they've done to our children. So I think that just kind of gives me hope to keep on going. And even though I don't have answers myself, I still have that hope for answers, and I know ultimately if I don't get those answers in my lifetime, that they will have to answer for what they've done.
I'm just winging it here. I did not prepare my thoughts before I started the video. I don't know what justice means. I don't know what justice means for anybody else. I don't feel like justice is something that can ever be achieved, but maybe that's because the woman who murdered my mother was found relatively quickly and put in jail. She originally had a sentence of life without parole, which is now changed to life with parole, but I think my thoughts on justice would be very different if she hadn't been caught. For those of you who do not have that kind of closure, I don't think anybody can presume to tell you what justice is. I really don't. And I know that's not very helpful, but it's real.